think we need to realize as we go through our day-to-day things and we try to prepare for the future, we need to realize that tomorrow doesn't know us. You know, tomorrow does not know us. What I mean by that is, it's one of those thoughts that, you know, it may be unsettling at first, but it dawns upon you like something that you have never heard before. Tomorrow not knowing you, tomorrow not knowing your reputation, tomorrow not knowing who you are, tomorrow not knowing what you've done today. It's a phrase that once it's spoken within you, it reverberates through the soul like a bell that can't be unrung. Not belt, but bell. At first, it sounds unsettling, as if the person you are today might not be enough. It might not matter when the sun rises again. But as you sit with it, as I've sat with it longer, I've started to realize that it's not a fretboard. It's more like a release. Tomorrow, it's not carrying memory. It doesn't mean that you know, you have to forget about what you've done today and realize that you have to bring it every single day. And if you didn't bring it today, then you can give yourself grace for tomorrow. You know what I mean? It doesn't remember your trauma or your glory or your tears or your laughter. It doesn't come preloaded with your past. It simply opens up blank and unassuming. That's why tomorrow is, I feel like, the best thing that can happen for us. Waiting to be introduced to whoever you choose to be. You know what I mean? There's a certain illusion sometimes that we carry that life is linear, that it's a clear road and clear skies. It's straight progression no matter what, no matter who you are, to who you're becoming. But life isn't that easy, nor is it that tidy. Identity isn't a straight path. Sometimes you may feel like you've regressed, but if anything, that's growth. It curves and winds and sometimes disappears altogether before showing up as something you're not familiar with. You can wake up one day and not recognize who you are, and that is not failure. I want you to know that that's transformation. We sometimes hold on to identities and old persons because of comfort, out of fear, out of something that out of habit. We tell ourselves this is who I am and nothing's going to change that. We tell ourselves that, oh, nobody can change me, as though that declaration must last forever. I want you to know that there's no connotation that can hold you. Identity is not a life sentence, it's clay within our hands. It's meant to be shaped, it's meant to be spun around, it's meant to be danced with, broken, and reshaped again. The world may try to mold you and it's in the mode that it wants, but only you can control that. Only the soul knows better. Only the Holy Spirit, only God knows who you're supposed to be. So I think we need to start trusting who that is. It knows when it's time to change shape. It knows when it's time to transform. And by change, being natural, being its own nature, it demands that we step into the unknown. It demands that we step onto that road that we're not familiar with. The unknown can be frightening because it's unfamiliar, but I think that's where we happen. I think that's where we get into the best moments of our lives because we don't know what it is. You begin to find memory, you begin to find true joy in the unknown. I feel like the unknown can be liberating. The unknown can be something that regulates you almost. You can even wake up today, and be like, I cannot wait to go into today. I don't know what I'm expecting from it. I don't know what I'm expecting from it. It means that nothing is predetermined. The future has no attachment to the labels others have given you. It has no association about what you've told yourself from the wounds that you've carried. It will not stop and say, aren't you the one that used to be afraid of such and such? Aren't you the one that used to hide? Aren't you the one that used to doubt? It doesn't remember, and that is the grace of it. But this freedom only comes from letting go of who we once were in order to become who we are. It requires that we allow some of parts of ourselves to die, sometimes quietly, sometimes painfully, but we have to bear those versions of ourselves that we've outgrown. Even if it still means that you have to let some people go. Even if others still recognize them and prefer them, there is grief in that. But it's also rebirth. You cannot continue to postpone your growth just because people are comfortable with who you once were. You cannot cling on to yesterday and also become who you're meant to be tomorrow. It's here that, God becomes clearer than ever. It's here that divine becomes more clear. God is not a curator of your past failures. He's the author of your future freedom. He does not call you by shame. He does not call you by negative connotation. He calls you by who he's written, what he's written. He doesn't call you by the names that you once went by because of survival. He sees who you're becoming. He knows you are underneath the performance, underneath the anxiety, beneath the expectation, behind the mask. He calls you by name and not by history. And when he invites you into something new, it's something that only he can show you. It's never based on who you were. It's based on who he knows you can become, on what he's written about you, on what he has ordained for you. You know, but sometimes that journey, not even sometimes, all the time, that journey is not easy. There's a lot of tension in change, there's a lot of tension in becoming, there's discomfort and growth. And there's a risk that showing up differently might mean that you might be lonely for a while because the world isn't familiar with who this person is. Just only we're familiar with one version of you. You may lose people, you might confuse even yourself. You may even wonder if you're faking it. But growth often does feel like pretending at first. It's like you're wearing one of those trench coats that's big, that's too big for you, hoping one day you'll grow into it. But the beauty of that is, if you keep showing up, one day it will. One day it will. You know, the hard part about growth, the hard part about stepping into something new is not that, it's not the fact that, you're taking that step. It's being present enough to notice that it's happening. A lot of the times we want instant gratification with these things. A lot of the times we want to see it to believe it, you know. But you have to keep showing up in order to see it. We spend so much time trying to control tomorrow that we forget it's not ours yet. You don't have a label on it. Anxiety tries to pull us forward, trying to script a version of our future that we can, prepare for, just in case something goes wrong. But that's not in our job description. That's not in what we do. We cannot write tomorrow's script. We only get the lines to speak today. And whatever you point today can disciple you into what you want to be tomorrow. You know, that's why those lines that you speak today, those lines matter, because who you are right now is introducing yourself to the next moment. If you're distracted, attached, or dishonest, you're not really showing up. If you're not showing up, you're not growing. It also reminds me that, you know, you're not entitled to your future. Just because you've suffered doesn't mean that healing will arrive on schedule. You have to go and grab about the scruff of the neck. Just because you have potential doesn't mean transformation will happen automatically. The future is not granted, and change doesn't just happen because we want it. It happens because we participate in it. It happens because we go out there and be present for so long that we take it because we choose it. You have to choose it. If you don't choose it, then it's gonna stay where it is. We have to choose it daily. Because once we break that autopilot and step into life with intention, that is when life will start showing up as we want it to show up. You know what I mean? This isn't just about hustling and trying to prove your worth. It's about, alignment. It's not about achieving a better version of yourself for performance. As we see on TikTok, you say 1% better every day. Yes, that matters. But it's not all about performing. It's not all about showing others that, you're capable. It's about living as though every breath matters. Because it does. It's about waking up and realizing that the present moment is the only space where transformation is possible. Yesterday is a memory. You know, Tomorrow could be a possibility. It is a possibility, as a matter of fact. But today is sacred ground. Today is something that we must relish in, because this is the only thing that shows up when we choose not to. Today is the only thing that, can let us know who we are in the moment. Today is the only thing that lets me know where I'm going tomorrow. And sometimes that's all we need. All we need is today. All we need is today. If you enjoyed this video, I really do appreciate you guys. I really do appreciate you guys. I say this every time, but Just to take in time out, we hit 400 subs. That's amazing. I don't think I mentioned it. And on TikTok, we hit 15.4K as of what, like 7:30 today, June 8th. I really want to say thank you because this is something I wasn't expecting. This is something that is very brand new to me. You know, I love each and every one of you, man. Men and women, or they, them. You know, I don't discriminate. I love you all, man.